Okay, let's get started. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Winfo Solutions live webinar. Today we're talking about intelligent Oracle automation, powering up your sales order process with WinfoBots solution. Let's start with a few introductions. So I am David Middup. I'm the head of our EMEA business, and for this webinar, I will host the session. And over to Devendra to introduce yourself.
Hello all, I'm Devendra Suryavanshi. I work as a director on the Oracle practice of Winfo Solutions. Over to you, Kotesh.
Hi everyone, I'm Sai Koteshwar Rao. I've been working as a business analyst at Winfo Solutions. Over to you, David.
Thanks, everybody. Some of you will know Winfo well, others will be new to us. So just by way of a brief introduction, we are a long-standing Oracle partner, active in the Oracle partner community. In terms of our clients, we've got over $30 billion clients across a wide range of sectors across the globe. We operate out of 5 key entities in the UK, the US, India, Ireland, and our latest addition is our Romania entity. And globally, we have around 300 experts to support us in our engagements with our core clients. In terms of our range of services, we summarize these as enterprise transformation in the Oracle-enabled world, automated testing using the latest technologies, business process automation, which is the topic of today's webinar, data analytics, and custom application development, either in the Oracle ecosystem or beyond. So what we'll go on to talk about today, just a brief run through. So we'll take a look at some of the hidden efficiencies in the conventional sales order process. We'll take a look at the technology and the benefits that underpin robotic process automation, which obviously WinfoBots is a key component of that, and the capabilities itself of the tool and how we use that to transform order management. We'll then go on to have a demo of WinfoBots so you can see the tool in action for yourselves. We'll then go on to give you a summary of a story from one of our key clients in the manufacturing industry. And we'll then go on to talk about a little bit about how you could apply automation to your business, which areas you could automate and what might be open to you. We'll open up to a Q&A session at the end. Please do enter your questions in the Q&A function within Zoom, and we'll pick up those questions and do our best to answer those in the time we have available to us. Okay, that's what we're going to cover. So let's get stuck in. Over to Devendra.
Thanks, David. So today we're looking for basically a WinfoBot process for sales order creation automation. So what is basically a sales order? Sales order is basically a customer request where it requests for a service or goods to be delivered to their decided locations or desired locations on a particular date and time. So that's the sales order, what we need to enter in our ERP system so that the orders can be fulfilled on a particular date and particular to the particular locations. So if you look at typical cycle of a sales order, the information in terms of the request comes via email, or in these days, most of the customers may have their own portal. So we download those informations from those portals or email, and then basically we enter those data into your ERP systems. Once the data is entered into ERP system, you may want to have some additional information like warehouse, internal item against the customer item. Those information need to be derived or need to be entered, and then basically the order gets created. And for then auditing purpose, you would like to have that customer POBs saved either in your SharePoint locations or any document repository, or you may want to attach to your ERP system itself. So if you see that number of steps are all manual currently, what we generally do, and it's basically repetitive. And in this manual process, what you look at basically looks like, if you look the manual, if you need to go and check multiple times your portals for the customers, or you would like to check your emails, it's basically delayed your process of capturing orders. And being manual, there could be chances of data entries, and as a result you have a time delays. And the moment you have a time delay, that means your order fulfillment cycle get extended. And of course, the moment your cycle get delayed or errors, it's definitely result into the losses for the customer as well as the poor customer experience. So what we are looking here, this efficiency and bot. So what can we see, right? These processes are pretty much routine and rule based. So if you see the downloading or you're downloading from the email addresses or multiple email addresses in that case, or portals, keep checking your portals for the new orders. This is pretty much a repetitive activity. And of course, based on those activity, the information present in those documents, you enter those information in your ERP systems. Additional fields need to be mapped. There's always a rule-based fields like, this item need to be shipped from this particular warehouse, or for this customer, this delivered to location should go from this warehouse. And schedule dates can be by your ATP systems, or it could be manually, whatever coming from the customer POs, that the information again rule-based. So basically what we are saying is that information either available in the purchase order document coming from your customer, or you have rule-based information to derive those fields that creates effectively a sales order. And then of course, you routinely upload those documents for audit purpose, either on the ERP systems or your document repository. So what we see is basically a trend over here is, the steps are repetitive or rule-based. That means the data can be automated with the bot, because the data is available, or rule-based, we can derive the data. So what we are saying is the bot is exactly perform the same steps what manually does within the application or multiple applications, and bot captures all the data available on the POs and derived additional fields needed from the application, and so that it can have fulfill the complete fields needed for a sales order. Needless to say, right, it's a bot, so it's available 24/7. So it's actually performing a work in 3 shifts, where the human being perform only 1 shift. And when it comes to tomorrow, if the order volume changes from 10,000 to 15,000, the scaling the bot is quite easier. You just start putting one more bot, and the process remains same, and you get scaled. So what we are looking, if we try to automate this process, take an example of a organization which may have a revenue around 1.8 to 2 billion, and consider they have 12,000 employees, and say about 30 employees are used for the sales booking or order booking. We can easily say 10,000 hours of time can be automable, considering that 80,000 orders are entered in a year. Which is, in the same example, the labor cost will be, we are saying around $500,000 of labor cost. And of course, the other benefit would be definitely lesser number of errors. So you will have lesser number of chances of revenue loss due to the errors, and of course the operational efficiency increases. Even if you go to intangible benefits as well, right? So if someone is doing orders manually, if enter the wrong items, you have inventory get mismanaged, the order gets shipped, the wrong item gets shipped, definitely it's a poor customer experience. And what it helps as well is to have the limited or efficient order cycle. That means no minimum number of errors. That means you will have order not being updated multiple times, and you have the deliveries on time. So that's the overall potential achievement in terms of the tangible and intangible provided by automating this sales order process. So we just saw that, right? What can be automated, and that's what exactly the WinfoBot does. We have done this process to automate the activities which are repetitive by a bot. So what WinfoBot does in this process? So what it does basically in the first step, to get the data extracted, right? So source can be your emails or multiple emails, depending upon the regions, right? You may have different email addresses based on your business unit. So bot extract or monitor multiple email addresses, and your major customers or large customer may have their own portals. So in this case, bot can look into your portals, extract for the data. Whenever the new PO comes in, it can have multiple filters to look for the new POs only, or the POs which are open for you to fulfill. So that information can be extracted from multiple sources. As I said, in this case, mailboxes or customer portals. Once data is basically the data is available from those portals, be it PDFs or image, the data being extracted by bot about information like what is the delivery location, what's the item in it, what's the shipment requested date, all those information available on the typical customer PO. And of course, once the data is available, it whatever the supplement data needs, bot actually goes and extract the data from the corresponding ERP systems, or it can be one system, more system, depend upon your footprint, and basically it gets the additional values needed to enter the order, like say supposed to be based on the item and what the item and customer delivered to location. It could derive the warehouse value based on the set rules, or which operating unit, in this case Oracle or business unit, it need to pick up from. That information can be extracted, or in addition, if you want to validate, it can validate some information as well. And then once all those informations are available, bot can enter the sales order with all information in one shot. And of course, if notifications are needed, optionally you can enable the notification when the data being extracted, or when and also we can have data extra notification available when the data been completely entered by the ERP system, in the ERP system, by the bot. And of course, after that, it can save those PDFs either in your SharePoint or its ERP system itself for the auditing purpose. So what we are seeing, basically the whole cycle of what we have seen earlier as a manual activity can be automated efficiently, and on top of it, you can have additional notifications and consolidated reporting available on the bot itself. By automating this process, what are the benefits we are getting? I'll take the exactly same example earlier I talked about, right? If you have a 30 FTs working on the sales booking or order booking with 80,000 orders per year, we are looking around a saving for 760K, which is basically enough over first year. That means you will have your break even within 1 year for this particular process. And of course, if you're looking, we're saying 70 FTE saved, that means you're increasing your productivity by 94%. And of being bought, we are looking to have the accuracy of 95 to 98%. So that's basically a benefit of, or basically of opportunity within WinfoBot of when we are automating the sales order process. In addition to the typical sales order process, we have another process as well, and these are some of the common benefits available across the processes. So like we have this WinfoBot provides a command center to monitor all your basically what processes has been done, like in this case sales order process. So you can see how many orders has been processed, how many are pending to process, how many have been errored. So all are available within the bot. You can view those informations, and as being that integrating to multiple ERP systems, so you can have information available across your ERP. So if you have a 2 or 3 ERP system, this all sales order data from across the ERP system is consolidated and aggregated to you view as a single place for the sales order. If you want to monitor the portal progress, you can monitor the customers portals and keep looking the data and download those POs as frequently as you want. And of course, if another benefit over here is basically you can have approvals configured if you need it, basically tailor-made your approvals based on your business process requirements. I'll take an example, right? So supposed to be you may have a custom order which has certain high value higher. You would like to get it approved by your fulfillment team or your sales order team. So you can have conditional approvals before we book the order. So you can put those approvals in place on the WinfoBot. Once that approved, then only it process for order entry. Or you can have another approval example could be if the fulfillment dates or requested date from the customer are within 15 days or 20 days, whatever you want to configure, you can put that and have approval on that. So that way the process is highly configurable when it comes to approval, or even process wise, if you need to configure it here and there, you can do that. Like if you want to view before you process the order into the ERP application, you can put a pause or status as a pending entry and you view it and then you do it, or you can automate complete process, so you can configure the way you want. And of course, it being bought, it's available 24/7. And at any point of time, if you like to see how the bot is doing, you can click on a streaming. It will show you how the bot is performing that action in the back on your ERP systems. So that's the features, which some of them I took an example of sales order process, but these are some of most of them are the common feature available across our processes. With this, I'll move to the demo, which my colleague Koteshwar Rao will take care of. Kotesh, over to you.
Yeah. Thank you, Devendra. Hi, everyone. As David and Devendra just mentioned on the benefits of WinfoBots and sales order creation process using WinfoBots, let us have a quick demo on how to create the sales order using the WinfoBots. So there are two methods to create a sales order using WinfoBots. The one using the email and other using the SharePoint. So the bot is configured and scheduled in such a way that the bot picks the specific emails. The bot picks the email notifications or the PDFs in the SharePoint, and it will process those PDFs and extracts the data from that PDFs. So once it extracts the data, it will send out an email notification, as Devendra just mentioned. So before going into the demo, let's actually look at what are the step-by-step actions that I'm going to perform right now. So the first one is I'm going to send out an email to the designated email address where the bot is scheduled, and it will pick the email or the PDF, and it will process the document and it will extract the data from it. The second one, by the time the bot processes the demo, I'll give you a quick walkthrough on the WinfoBots application. And the third one is I'll click on the Start WinfoBots button, where the bot will enter the data into the respective ERP application, which is a manual step I'm doing for the sake of the demo, which can be automatable. And the final, I'll be showing you the email notifications, how the bot how the bot sends out the email notifications to all the users. So now for the sample, let's actually go ahead and look at how do we need to send an email. So I'll be sending an email to the designated email address, which is winbot@winfosolutions.com, where the bot is designated to pick the PDF, and the bot is configured such a way it picks the email where if it is configured and it has a subject of #SO. So now I'll be sending the email. By the time bot processes the PO, let us actually look at the WinfoBots application. So this is the landing page of the WinfoBots application, where you can sign in using the username and the password, or you can also sign in using the SSO. So let us sign in with the SSO. So where I'm using my organization email ID. And as WinfoBots has onboarded multiple processes, around 49 in Oracle Cloud and 49 in Oracle EBS. And as we are focusing on the sales order automation process, and as you all know that sales order is one of the category under order to cash, let's directly go into order to cash and click on sales order. The sales order homepage consists of all the high-level information about the numbers of the sales order over the number of days and also the respective statuses. The respective statuses include needs action, pending sales order entry, sales order entered, sales order entry failed, rejected, duplicate. And on the left of my screen, you can see all the header related data, and on the right of my screen, you will be seeing the line level data. So any PO can have multiple line level. So and on the bottom, you will be having a demographic representation of the data, where it will be on all the statuses. So the homepage also consists of Start WinfoBots, which I just mentioned. It's a manual step which will trigger the bot to enter the data into the ERP application. And it also has a View Streaming button, where you can view the streaming of what exactly are the actions done by the bot. So now, by the time bot processes the emails that were sent, let's actually look at each and every status. Pending sales order entry. So for the purchase order sent to the bot through email or SharePoint, if it extracts all the data or all the mandatory fields that are necessary for the bot to enter into the ERP application and create a sales order, if that all the mandatory fields are extracted, then the bot will place these purchase orders into the pending sales order entry needs section. If any of the mandatory data is not extracted by the robot due to various reasons, the robot places these under the needs action status. So under the needs action status, the users have the flexibility to edit or change the data and save them. So once the data is saved by the user has an option to click on create SO, which will then move the file from needs action status into the pending sales order entry. As you can see, the bot has already processed those POs, which are on the pending sales order entry. So it means that all the mandatory fields are extracted by the bot, and it is ready to enter into the respective ERP application. So as I said, I'll be clicking on the Start WinfoBots button, which will trigger the bot. And you can see a notification on the screen which mentions the process has been submitted successfully, which means that the bot is triggered and you will see the data into the respective ERP application. So by the time bot enters the data into the respective ERP application, let us actually look at all the remaining statuses. Sales order entered. So in the sales order entered, if If the bot enters all the data in all the respective data into the ERP application and the sales order is created in the ERP application, then the bot places this purchase order into the sales order entered. So once the sales order is entered, you all know that there will be a sales order number that is generated. So the bot will take the sales order number out of the ERP application and it will show you onto the WinfoBots dashboard. So if you can, let me open a header ID where you can have a sample. So the sales order number is created and it is displayed onto the WinfoBots application. So the next status, sales order entry failed. For suppose if there is any issue while entering the data into the ERP application, let us say the login has been failed into the application. So the bot will throw out an error which says there is an error in the entry of the sales order, and it will place those purchase order into the sales order entry failed. So once the bot places this purchase order into the sales order entry failed, it will take the respective screenshot at that point of time, and it will send out a user notification. Sorry, it will send out an email notification to the user. So rejected. In the reject, so for suppose if the user has sent a PO into the WinfoBots application and due to various reasons he or she wants to reject the PO, so the WinfoBots always have the flexibility of rejecting the PO in each and every status. So once the user have sent the PO and the bot has processed it, the user can go into the WinfoBots application and reject the status. So once the user clicks on the reject status, the bot will never pick the purchase order and it will never create the sales order. Duplicate. At the time of the entry, the bot generally searches with the PO number. If the PO number is already available on the WinfoBots, on the ERP application, the bot will never create the sales order, and the PO number is a duplicate, it will place that purchase order into the duplicate status. So I will walk you through the email notifications, how the email notifications will look like on each and every status. So once the extraction is done, you will receive out an email which says the robot has successfully extracted the data from the purchase orders, and you can all see the detailed information on the WinfoBots dashboard with an hyperlink. So you can also have a email notification whenever the entry process starts. So it looks like this. So whenever the entry process is start, the user will receive a notification which says the WinfoBots has started to create the sales order for that. And all these email notifications are customizable. So as I am the only person right now that I have sent the email, so the email notifications are only received by me. And as Devendra has mentioned in the previous slide, if the user or the client needs any approval notifications to be received based on the amounts or on the timelines, so that is always configurable onto the WinfoBot sales order creation automation. So I'll hand over it to Devendra for giving you a quick overview on the customer success story.
Thank you, Kutesh, for the demonstration. So the one process we have just Kutesh demonstrated over here. Similar way we have deployed a process for a manufacturing client, which is a global client, have operations across Asia, Americas, and Europe, with the fulfillment centers available in US as well as in Asia. So this particular client is using both Oracle and SAP as their ERP systems in the current area. And basically in next 1 or 2 years, they're transforming their consolidating to a new SAP system. And that means they needed their sales booking staff to focus on implementation of the SAP rather than taking this routine activities. And that's where the WinfoBot comes in a picture over here. So what in this one we are looking basically sales order being entered in both SAP and Oracle as a solution, and the data is actually sourced from multiple email address based on the region. So you may have EMEA separate email addresses, Asia separate, US separate, so that the data is extracted from those multiple email addresses, as well as some of the large customer from their side have the portals from where basically bot goes into those individual customer portals and picks up the data from the portals based on the filters of the dates, status open, and making sure it gets all order extracted from those portals. So the source basically in this case are customers' email addresses basically are by regions, and then the portals for the customers, and basically it's getting those data in there. Then basically the data is extracted by the bot from these two sources and entered into Oracle or SAP, depends upon the customer and target ERP systems. Once the data has been entered, the SOs are basically the whatever the PDFs are attachments coming with for the PO customer POs are actually attached either to the ERP systems based on the need or into the SharePoints. So what's basically what they are doing basically about those two SAP and Oracle, they have all their customers basically being data being automated based from various sources. In this case, basically two sources, multiple email addresses and customer portal entered into either Oracle or SAP via bot. And as a result, they have a full consolidated list of sales orders, statuses, as well as visibility on the WinfoBot dashboard, which can tell them, including both SAP and Oracle, how many numbers of orders been entered, how many have been failed, and proper visibility in terms of the number of orders entered in a month, week, whatever you want to have, or time buckets. That's the solution over here. The benefit what they have got with this solution, basically, if I look the volume perspective, it's around 70,000 sales order are created in SAP plus Oracle together. Oracle has a larger volume in a year by bot, which is basically in result, if I just take it that 160,000 steps are automated every month. 116, where basically Oracle has around 45 steps and SAP has around 40 steps being automated for a single order. That's where we're saying about 116,000 steps have been automated in a month, which actually results in 5,500 hours saved in human efforts basically every month. Yeah. So the benefit, I mean, this is just stats, but a couple of benefits, right? That business environment is a minimum, so they can focus on other productive activities, like in this case, implementation of the SAP, and as well as basically it provides more effectiveness in terms of the entry because it's 24/7 available. And another point is accuracy is quite high as compared to what user may have when they enter manually. So that's the success story in this manufacturing client.
Thanks, Dandra. That's I know it's been of great value to the clients there. I mean, just a couple of questions for you on that. Considering this is a global client,
yeah,
I presume our solution is multi-language here.
Yes, David. So as I said, this is a global client which have distribution centers across Asia, Americas, and Europe. So yes, our solution in this case supports multiple languages. So customers POs coming into the various languages. In this case, Japanese, simplified Chinese, and German, in addition to English. And our solution extract data in those languages and enter the data into respective ERP system in those languages.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And those volumes of transactions were pretty high. I mean, how many bots are required to deliver this?
Okay, so this is around 70,000 if you see the transaction wise. So we are in this particular solution, we have two bots here. Our robots are used for the entry the sales orders in this particular solution, and it depends upon any day where the SAP orders are more or Oracle orders are more, it picks up one and completes, and whenever it gets free, it start working on other. So no robot stays ideal. It basically switches as and when it completes other activities. And as of now, two robots are sufficient to complete it. If it need to extend to another, say supposed to be as of now it's 70,000, tomorrow another 30,000 per year increases, they can introduce another robot just by drag and drop, and it gets scaled.
Okay, so it's pretty scalable.
Yes, indeed. Thanks, David. So as I said, right, this is sales order process. We've talked through about it. So we have around 49 processes across business process areas like procure to pay, O2C, supply chain, record to report, which we have already pre-built those solutions for automation, and they're basically ready to deploy with, of course, configurations as per your needs or requirements. These processes have processes like your supply invoice creations, right, which basically a higher volume process, and probably happens in most of the business very frequently. Or you can have a processes like period end close, which happens once in a month, but it takes 4 to 5 days of your finance team to perform the work. So we have length and breadth of the processes across the ERP system, which can be automated. With this, I will hand it over to David to talk through how it can, the approach to implement or deploy this process works.
Thanks, Devendra. I mean, you've seen the solution, and it's pretty impressive what it can achieve for your organizations. But in terms of your journey to actually get to that point, it's a pretty straightforward three-step process that we go through. Firstly, it's around understanding your organization. So we do a discovery and analysis stage, looking at the data, the process maps that you have for your organization, identifying those tasks which you're particularly looking to automate, so those manual tasks. Look at how easy it will be to automate those, and look at the costs associated with executing those manually and what you're likely to save in an automated world. Second step is go on to demonstrate the potential solution, and we want to help you to get the approvals internally to ensure that you can move forward with a project of this type. So we put together a prototype or a simulation of the tool based on your environment to understand your processes. We document that clear scope of what will be automated. We look at how we can present those findings, and together we work through what those findings will be for your organization. And we then help you to get that approval within the business so you can move forwards. Now, the third step, the exciting step of then configuring and deploying that solution. So we would document the processes. We would look to build and configure the actual solution in WinfoBots. Naturally, we go through a rigorous testing cycle. It's working off live data, and we want to make sure this is absolutely spot on. And then we deploy it to your production environment. So pretty straightforward journey. We operate there, pretty consistent wherever we do this. And obviously, you might apply that to multiple processes depending on your overall scope. So in terms of some of the achievable benefits, now this is just an example, and every organization is different, but this is based on an organization of just over $5 billion with around 30,000 employees. Now, if we actually deploy 37 processes here of our pre-built processes, the calculator says that we would save around 100 FTEs of effort, which equates to over 10,000 hours of work saved every month. Now, over a 5-year period, that adds up to over $30 million saved, 76% reduction in manual effort across those processes. And in this case, this would use 26 robots. The last example we saw was just 2 robots, and we talked about scalability. Now, this is scalability across a much broader range of processes that were being automated. So there's no real restriction on that. And you can see from the chart on the right, I mean, down at the bottom end, there's a little bit of time and volume that you want to get into to get that return on investment, but still pretty quick in just around a year to get that return. But as you can see, some cost increasing the lower line you see there as the deployment cost and licensing creeps up a little bit. But the actual savings are so significant that it's well worth the investment. The return on investment is pretty high. So that's, as I say, that's an example in that size of client, and everybody's different. And what we recommend to you is to try our calculator so we can actually see whether, or see for the processes you're interested in, what the actual savings would look like. All businesses are different sizes and different types of processes. So we really look at what it means for you and to help to build your case for change there. So in terms of next steps, what do you do next? Well, as I say, it's all about the numbers. So we would recommend to find out what the savings might be for your business. We take a look at your processes, both in terms of scope and complexity that you've got, and then we use our calculator to understand what your specific savings would be. And that's where we can help you to build your internal business case to move forwards. We'd also recommend having a personalized demo of the solution. What you've seen is obviously a demo we use purely for these examples, but actually if we can bring it to life in your environment and processes of your choosing, then it becomes really meaningful in what you can actually achieve and what it'll look like. And obviously you can bring in your colleagues to demonstrate there also and spread the word on what it can do. So that's really where you need to take it from here if you're interested. What we suggest to get started, just email me personally. I'll happily pick it up, and we can look to move you forward on your own journey. Or even if you just want to chat further about what it might mean, or you've got further questions that we aren't able to answer today, we're very happy to respond to you. Okay. So let's go to the the questions that we have now. I know we've seen some coming in on the Q&A, so thank you for that. Please do keep on adding questions to Q&A as you think of them. But let's get started on the ones that we have so far. So Devendra, the first one for us, what other options do we have other than choosing the data, picking the data from email and SharePoint as a source?
Yeah, so David, as I said, right, in this particular process of sales order, other than email address and SharePoint, we have portals as well. So customer portals, so large customer may have their own portals from where data need to be extracted. So in this case, we have sources of customer portal as well for the sales order process. But in general, if you talk about other processes other than the portals, email address, and SharePoint, we can have the sources within the ERP system as well, like period close process, right? It may need to pick up the data within the reports or within the system. So we have multiple sources available.
Okay, thank you. And if to whoever asked the question there, if there's something in particular you wanted to understand, then obviously we can chat offline if you've got a particular source that you want to verify there. Okay, we'll move on to our next question. What is the licensing model for WinfoBots? So
David, it's basically a SaaS product, and currently it's been hosted in Oracle Infrastructure Cloud, and it's basically an annual subscription mode.
Okay, thank you. Next one, how many processes are pre-built in WinfoBots? I know we've got an ever-growing number, so what are we up to now?
Yeah, so we have 49 processes currently available for both Oracle eBusiness Suite and as well as Oracle Cloud across those processes area, which is procure to pay, order to cash, supply chain, as well as basically R2R, record to report.
Okay, so pretty much across the list we showed in the slide earlier. Okay, can we install this on-prem? We talk a lot about cloud, obviously, but is this usable in the on-prem world?
Yes, there is a possibility if the customer warrants it to be on-prem due to the various restrictions on the security around. Yes, we can have that deployed on-prem as well.
Okay, thank you. Next one we have, how long does it take to implement a process?
It depends upon the individual processes as well, but typically a complex process can take 4 to 6 weeks, basically from the day we do analysis to do onboarding those processes into the production. Okay,
thank you. Next one we have is, does it use OCR technology to convert the attachment from the email? And does it also support the scanned copies or non-readable attachments?
So as of now, of course, it uses OCR technology, but in our cases, probably I may not be that technical, but yes, it takes care of scan copies as well, where you can have the fields available and can be readable. But again, it depends upon quality of attachment as well. Sometimes that may not be very readable, then it's a challenge, but generally it can take both.
Okay, thank you. Can we customize the process?
Yes, David, we can. So basically, as I was saying, exactly, you may want to have the process how you want to tailor it based on your need. I wouldn't call it customized, but configurable as you want. And this 4 to 6 period is the period basically, when you say implementation, is basically to understand what you want and how you want the flow of the process to be. And then we can tailor made in that as per your business needs or as per the customer's business need over there.
Okay, great, thank you. In BAU, what is the process for changes to customer PO formats or new customers being onboarded? Is this handled by Winfo, or can the organization handle this directly?
So I considered onboarding new customer as more of a business activity, David, and probably, of course, the support team is always going to be available to support BAU team, sorry, the business team over here. But generally, we give the trainings and all that. It becomes the business activity as in routine activity to onboard the customer. Having a dependency on technical team or IT team is not a really ideal solution. So the way we work is we basically train the users to have those key users in this case to have onboarding done by themselves for the new customers. And it's AI solution. Robot get trained automatically, but in exceptional cases where there is a need, there is always IT team available for support to any kind of help needed to onboard.
Okay, that's great. And I guess throw my own question in about every customer we find is different. So different levels of internal capability and different levels of desire to provide their own support. So I guess we can provide either smaller scale support or much larger scale support as required.
Yes, completely tailor-made. Yeah.
That's great. Okay, I mean that's the last of the questions we've had coming in there. So we'll look to wrap up in a second, unless there's any last questions anybody wants to add. Just give a moment in case anybody's typing. Another one. Can the solution handle multiple revisions to customer POs?
Yes, it can. Basically, it's what we are looking is basically extracting the data again, and we have a identifier of revisions of the POs that it will handle that and provide the make it an update to your sales order based on the customer POs.
Great. Okay. That's the last questions come in. So to all of you on the call, if you come up with other questions after we've closed the call, which is normally the case, please do just email us at sales@winfosolutions.com, and we'll happily get back to you. As I say, in terms of the next steps, we very much welcome the opportunity to help you just to shape your cost model and what it might mean for you, or give you a much broader demo of what it might mean in your environment. So we're very open to chat and take that forward for you in any case. Or if you're not sure, just want further chat on it, just let us know. We'll happily have the conversation with you. Okay. So let's leave it there. We're just about at time. So thank you very much for your time today. I nearly said this afternoon, but you're all over the world. So hopefully that was useful for you, and we look forward to hearing from you for any further interactions. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Devendra. Thanks,
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.